Okay, today's video is going to be to learn how to make this nice card with a word window see-through area in it. And it does have a couple steps, so if you need to pause and do one along the way or go back, I recommend that you try that. Okay, so the first step is you're going to take some pretty and pink paper and you're going to fold it in half to form a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch rectangle. Okay? Then you're going to use your extra large heart punch to come up from the bottom and try to punch it about in the middle as close as you can. And you can save that heart for a different project. Okay. Next, you are going to take a piece of rose red paper that's been cut to 4 by 5 1/4. And you're going to see that it just kind of lays along the top, and you will have a bit of a border around it. So you're going to take a little bit of Dotto. It's a removable adhesive, and you're going to put it on the top and the bottom here and just lightly stick it to the front of your card. Now you're going to use Dotto because you want it to stay secure during the next step, but then after that you want to be able to remove it for further steps along the line. Okay, so you see that you have your rose red window showing through the punched out heart. You take your heart punch again and punch it through so the rose red window heart comes out. So now you can see completely through. Next, you are going to remove the rose red paper and you are going to just rub off the Dotto. It just comes off easily with your finger. Not a problem at all. And you are going to run this through your Big Shot machine. And we're going to use the Elegant Lines folding template here. And you just stick your paper in all the way at the bottom. Fold it in so it's nice and tight in there. You're going to put this through your Big Shot machine. I apologize for the very close nature of the handle, and just run it through. Once that has been run through the machine, just set the machine aside so it's out of your way, and you will have a nice textured image on your rose red paper. So you'll see that that will be the overlay. Now you need to do the window on the inside, and that requires using acetate paper, and it's transparency paper, overhead paper. It's what they use in classrooms, and it's rather thick, it's very slick, so when you're using this you need to use stays-on ink. Otherwise your image will just rub right off and you will be very frustrated. So I'm using a stamp from the Punch Potpourri Hostess set. I'm going to twist, twist, tap, tap, and I stand up for leverage so I can make sure that I don't move around too much when I'm pushing straight down. Because if you move it around while you're pushing straight down, you'll just get smears. So I've stamped my image, and I need to give it just a couple seconds to dry, because again it's not paper, so it takes just a few seconds. While it's drying, I'm going to line it up with my Rigo Rose paper. And the thing that you want to avoid is you want to avoid any extra acetate sneaking out underneath the layers. So I'm just going to cut off a little bit of the bottom here so it won't show. Okay. So now that this is dry, I am going to put some double-sided sticky strip on it. And then you don't need much, you just want to make sure that it stays stuck to your paper. And I actually prefer to put it on the back and have it stick down to the Rigo Rose paper, because then I know that it's going to be a flat surface when I apply my rose red paper to it. Okay. And again, just as long as it's on the border and not showing through the heart, you'll be fine. Because the only part of this that you will see is the part that is through the punched heart. Okay, peel that off. Lay this on top of your open punched area. Line it up. Make sure it's flat. Okay? See? So now you have your window. And now I'm going to use some craft ink to just lightly paint on the image. So I'm just using a paintbrush and my craft ink. I'm using Pumpkin Pie to lightly paint in where there are flowers and stems, just for a little bit of offsetting color. If you wanted to put a piece of white paper behind it for extra jump from the page, that's fine, but because I did this as a window and I wanted it to just have a little bit of jump, especially when you open it and then it's exposed, then you can really see it and you don't really even need to worry about the white. So again, you're not going to get a really thick coverage. It's more of just a diffuse painting. If you want further more saturated coloring, then you would need to let the craft ink dry and then continue on with additional layers. Okay, and you can just use the same paintbrush, just get some of the craft ink off, and then I'm going to use some Old Olive to paint the stems. Okay, now be careful not to touch that, you want to let it dry. Now it's time to glue this on. So I'm going to take some of my glue, put it on the back of my embossed paper, and line it up with the punched area. And there you have it. That's the card. So good luck and happy stamping!